Kane, it's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened as I said it would. People will be. Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, good afternoon and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. I hope you are doing well today. We are jam-packed on the channel today. Of course, we did a video earlier on just talking about the exploits of course, Archie Gray, Matteo Joseph. Fantastic performances from them. If you haven't already, make sure you check out that video. Please do. Massively helps the channel. Also, today, the return. I say the return. Yeah, it's the return. It's like 1 week on, 1 week off, isn't it? But White Rose Rivals is back as well, and apart from Rotherham, we're in some top form, by the way. Huddersfield winning, Sheff Wednesday winning, Leeds United winning, Rotherham not so much. But of course, we've got the small matter of the Huddersfield game that is live as well on Saturday morning at 12:30. So yeah, we can talk to Cossie. Cossie's going to be on the show as well. Always a good laugh, so looking forward to hearing from him. White Rose Rivals, 6 p.m. Then at 9 p.m., we're going to be on The Final Word. So make sure you join us for that at 9 p.m. as well. Yeah, it's jam-packed, busy. So I've been sleeping in between again. I'm in that routine of sleeps in between. I've been watching Mindhunter again, though, because I can't remember it, and it's a great show. So there we go. He'll be late at 6. Justin. I'm never late. Yes, Joe Blackburn in the chat as well. Hello, Joe. I hope you're doing well. Right, okay. So Presser's just happened. Not a lot to go on. It was pretty short. It was pretty shrift. It was pretty quick. But it's all good, right? It's all good. Because, just having a look here. Watford and Hull matches moved to 8 p.m. kickoffs for TV. So that means the Good Friday and Easter Monday game, I think that is, hot off the press, folks. Good Friday and Easter Monday will now be 8 p.m. kickoffs because we were due to play Watford at 3 and also Hull at 3, but they've both been moved. So I'm just going to move them in my calendar now. So if they're 8 p.m. kickoffs, do you know what, though? Like, selfishly, that might work for me because it means I might be able to get a couple more games in for the purpose of the channel, if I'm being totally honest. So there we go. I will check the rest of the schedule, who else has been changed, if any at all. I do know that Leicester are playing at 12:30 because I was going to do that game and then go straight on into the Leeds game on Good Friday, but there'll be a rest in between that. But that could mean there might be a 3 p.m. so we might be locked in for watch along all day on that day. Yeah, love that. What do you mean, great this decoding by Joe? What do you mean? I don't know what that means, broski, but I need to check what else has moved, if anything at all. For them games. We've got an exciting fixture coming up in March as well. I know that much because Leicester play Southampton this month, so that is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Let me have a look here. What have they moved? So it's the 29th. Yeah, it's not showing on Flash Scores yet. It won't have been updated, but it will soon be updated. But yeah, Sky Sports Leeds, and listen, you can't blame them at this point. I know fans will be annoyed, rightly so. Get players and stuff, but like, we're box office, aren't we? We're box office, and at the minute we're in a title race. We'd all be complaining if we're bloody 13th or 14th, so at least we're up there. David Lamb says, afternoon, Joe. Despite it being a Yorkshire derby and having a new manager, our squad should take care of Huddersfield, especially if we play. Yeah, exactly, I agree. They're going to be well up for it, but if you score within the first 15 minutes, it's game over, innit? We've shown that every game this season, bar last night against Premier League Chelsea, but we still gave them a hell of a good game. 2-2 till the last minute, basically. If it goes to extra time, you just don't know. But am I arsed? I'm not. The mad thing is, I've said this, I woke up this morning totally chilled about it. If you're in the Premier League maybe and you're mid-table and you've nothing to play for, you look at it and say, oh, God's sake, why have we conceded so late on? But where we are in the league, I'm cool with it because promotion is, yeah, that smells like promotion. That's where we need to be right now, right? Big up to Trent all the way over in Canada. What we're talking about? Who's lost who? Are you okay, Stace? Who have you lost? Hope everyone's all right. Are you on about the fan? Oh, the fan. Yeah, he's okay though, right? He's okay. No life-threatening injuries, but obviously fell from a height. We've seen some really terrible takes from Huddersfield fans, from Chelsea fans, mocking it. Not really funny, is it? But yeah, we move. We will punish. We will punish. Oh, you're on about spiders. Oh God. Okay. Here's me assuming you're on about that fan and you're on about bloody creepy crawlies. For feck's sake, Joe. What a tit. The sentiment still stands, though. Tarantulas I don't care for, if I'm being totally honest. I mean that with the best will in the world. I'm not scared of spiders, but I wouldn't have them as pets. I think anyone who has... I've not watched the video of him falling. I can't. Don't like stuff like that. But yeah, I've seen people mocking it. But yeah, anyone who has spiders as pets is... Something's not right there, I think, Stace. Especially if you've got more than one. And you, Katrina. Spiders, snakes, chinchillas... hamsters, gerbils, all like that. This is just vermin. They're just vermin. Yeah, Reese. I don't have comments on my TikTok, bro, for that reason, because people are wild. So yeah, yeah, it was a Leeds fan that fell from the top tier. As I say, I've not seen the video, but I know it's out there. Listen, there's 196 people watching. If you haven't already, please do smash a like on the video. I'm seeming to have to ask a hell of a lot more than normal. So if we could rectify that situation, that goes for the mods in the chat as well. So yeah, if you could do that. Looking for a good cop says, I had 14 tarantulas at one point. Wow. Are you all right? That's not good. I can't deal with that. But then again, I'm not scared of them. Like, genuinely, like, I'll hold the spider and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, listen, we've got 73 likes, 200 people. Please do help it out. Yeah, Luke, Luke B, I can't lie to you. YouTube is on a bit of a mad one, even just like with views and stuff. It went from like really, really coasting to now struggling, and there's been some issues there. So maybe YouTube are up to a skullduggery. I hope not. But yeah, Saskel Pruitt says, I've got crabs. We've all been there, mate. Don't worry about it. I would just advise you to shave them off, and then you'll be good to go. Let's get stuck into the press conference notes. Hopefully notes haven't deleted it this week. They haven't, thankfully. Like I say, not really, an abundance of juicy bits for us to go through, in all honesty. But we will go through it all the same, starting with good news. And it is good news because training session done today, and Jorginho Rutter trained and looked good. So he's going to be available for the game if his body does not react after this session. And I think it will react. Look, if we have Gio Rutter yesterday, I think we win the game. Piro was non-existent. We're going to need to have a conversation with Piro. Listen, I said to Joe Blackburn on his show way back, that I think it was on Joe Blackburn's, where I said he would need to be replaced. And at the time, I probably took a little bit of flack for it. But he's a player that when we get promoted, I don't see what we do with him. And we spent 12 million on him. You're not getting 12 million back from him either. 10 maybe? I'm not sure. I don't know. He just doesn't fit our system, does he? And, big shout out to and props to Andrea, to Lockie that had the foresight to say this. Big up to This Is Football. My man, Don Hassam. I watch this guy regularly. I don't go to sleep till late, and he's always on the box. Big up to Don Hassam's people. Do you know what as well, Don? If you're still watching, bro, like, I'm so happy for you, man, because I remember when you would come on before the whistle blows and you were starting out on that journey, and now, like, you are that journey, bro. Like, they come to you now, and it's just class to see. Because you're a real stand-up guy, and you deserve everything that comes your way, brother. Apart from the 6 points that we'll take from you when we get promoted back to the Premier League. Because the last team to beat Liverpool at Anfield, remind me again? Yes, it is the mighty Leeds United and Crescencio Somerville. But I appreciate you as well, man. Thank you very much. Yeah. Cheers, brother. Big up to everyone in the chat as well that have come across. Please do subscribe as well. We're on our road to 28k. We want 30k before the end of the season. David Lamb says, good question, Joe, would be, what system does Piro fit in? Because it ain't Farke's. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever Swansea were playing before that when he scored 20-odd plus goals. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it just doesn't fit ours. And we spent a lot of money on him. And I think, look, when Piro came in, yeah, you did tell me, bro. When Piro came in, we all felt he would be the guy that get Leeds United over the line, because this is a player that was the top scorer in the last 3 championship seasons or whatever. And, he just doesn't fit us, does he? He's not a 9 in the traditional sense. He's too immobile for me to be a 10. At times when he's got space, he has nice little touches and can pop them off. But when it's in a tight space, he hasn't got it. He hasn't got it for me. He doesn't have the turning prowess of a Rutter, for example. He doesn't have the dribbling ability of a Nonto or of a Somerville with quick feet. He just looks cumbersome. But yeah, like Luke B says, we mustn't forget this actually, that he has actually scored 11 goals and got 2 assists. It's not bad. Maybe we're being critical for critical's sake, but it's always about improving, right? And yeah, over time maybe he adapts. But yeah, I think Reece, let's say for example, let's flip it on its head and say we start the season with Rutter in the 10 and Bamford up top. You could argue we could even be in a better place. So yeah, it's a conundrum. Isn't it? It's almost like a Rubik's Cube. How do you solve the Piro Rubik's Cube conundrum kind of vibe, But look, Jorginho Rutter's back. That's the main thing. As I said, if he plays yesterday, we potentially win the game. He's probably been rested, and that's a good thing. He's trained today. He'll be ready. And as good as Huddersfield think they may be, then, no one can deal with Rutter. Leicester struggled to deal with him. Even when... The mad thing is, Rutter played terrible. Arguably had his worst game against Plymouth, and he got man at match. I mean, what does that say for Sky, to be honest? Probably says more about them than it does Rutter, but even Rutter came off and said, I didn't deserve it. Rutter knew he was poor. It's like they don't know what they're doing. They just go, who scored? Oh, give it Rutter. He actually was terrible. But my point is, he's still impacting games when he's rubbish by his standards. So to have him back in the side is huge. Same with Somerville and Bamford. Well, we know Somerville's okay. He was on the bench, as was Bamford. They were there as a precaution or as a needs must. Obviously, Farke looked at it when it was 2-2 and thought, I could win this game. So he injected Somerville and Nonto. Obviously, it didn't work, and Chelsea go and win the game because they brought on Gallagher and co, and they end up winning the game. It's totally calm. I could see why he threw them on with 10, 15 minutes left. You know what? Let's put Somerville and Nonto on and let them run at them. They didn't get the opportunities to do that. But the fact that he came on shows that he's ready. Bamford was on the bench as well as a precaution or needs must. Maybe in extra time he makes the changes. He mentions bringing Byram on in extra time for Firpo if it had gone there. But yeah, look, them two, they didn't train on Monday, but full session today and everything worked. So if they do the same tomorrow, they're fully available. We know the day before a match, they probably wind training down anyway, so I've every confidence that them get through. Here's another conversation though as well, and I was talking about this with the Joseph stuff. Does Joseph now be number one because he's scored 2 goals? Because we've seen, for me, no. You have to bring Bamford back in. I'm going to put that poll in the chat because I want to get people's, because I know there's still some people that, and I was one I fell out of love with Bamford. I'm back in love with him now. But would you say because he scored 2 goals against Chelsea that he then deserves to come in and start? So I'm just going to put that in. Should Matteo start over Pat? Now the answer to me is no. I can't vote in my own poll, but I want to get a decent reflection of what you folks think. Because there'll still be some that'll go, yeah. But Mitchell, I agree with what Mitchell said here. It feels like Joseph could be Bamford's successor. Yeah, that's the way it should be. And it's nice to see that people are saying that fact. Joseph is Bamford's backup. If Bam isn't fit, yeah. Above Piro, not Bamford. Yeah, that's perfect, innit? I think that has to be the thing now. Because we've seen him manage minutes off the bench. Nonto were getting 10 minutes. Gruyev were getting 10 minutes. Now they're starting because they're being built up to a crescendo. This Leeds United said is like a train, right? And it's just getting better and quicker and faster. And it almost feels like Matteo Joseph has been managed like that as well. So for me, I think Bamford has to come straight in. And then can be used. And I think what we'll see now is we'll start to see Mateo Joseph introduced earlier in games. Like, this has been Farke's plan and style, or his substitution plan, if you like, was little minutes here and there. And then before you know it, the minutes have increased and then they start starting games. What I will say, Bamford now knows he has a proper challenger. I think what we've seen this season, when James dropped out, Nonto came in, you got to play well to get back in. We've seen it on a number of occasions. Look at the Gruyev Kamara stuff in centre midfield, for example. Listen, we've got 144 likes. Let's get that up to 200 if we can, with 354 people watching. Big up to you all in the chat. So, yeah. And I agree with this, Clarkey, as well. I don't think many can. It's so underappreciated, especially when we were losing games, because people would go, yeah, but it's about scoring goals, and I get that. And in them key moments, you want a striker who's a gunman who's going to find the back of the net at the first chance of asking. But them a tenner penny. Even Haaland misses sitters, for God's sake. Look how profligate Nunes can be. It's very hard to find a cold finisher. Who's the last cold finishers? We're talking like Jermaine Defoe, Harry Kane. These just people that knew where the back of the net was. Not even Salah misses chances. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone is as profitable or scores as many as they should. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think people appreciate him more when we're winning games because they can see what he brings. It's when we're losing games and we're relying on him as the man to find the back of the net, if that makes sense. But everyone, and I used to stick up for him. I remember, Joe, you don't know what you're talking, get him out of the side, all this shit. But we was right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was saying this season that I wanted him bombed out. I'm not trying to rewrite history on that, but I've quickly fell back in love with the guy. It didn't take me long to, that's for sure. So it's refreshing to see that 58% of people think that Pat should start over Mateo. I'm confused by the 41% who think Mateo should start over him. But everyone's entitled to their opinion, as we do know. Let's have a look then. So, Somerville Bamford did not train Monday, but full session today, hopefully back. Gruyev is on individual training, so they'll have to see how he is. Needs to train tomorrow with the team to make it. Still a chance he can be involved. I don't know what actually happened to Gruyev, where he got this knock, how he got this knock, what that knock is or was, or where it is on his body. But ultimately, he's in individual training. Hope and pray that he's back and he's able to start. Because if not... But then again, I was just going to say, if not, you're looking at Cooper at centre-back and Ampadu in midfield, which Ampadu in midfield isn't a bad thing. Let me just qualify this. Let me just quantify that statement. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination saying when everyone's fit, he shouldn't be in midfield. I just felt yesterday wasn't the time to bang home your narrative, for me personally, when we just played well away at Chelsea. And I would argue Archie was better than what Ampadu was. But anyway, that again, football is about opinions. Let me just qualify that statement. And that's fine. But probably what would happen if Gruyev isn't fit is Gray would probably go into midfield and Roberts would play right back, and then you would keep Ampadu at centre-back. What I will say for this, as much as I want Gray long-term to play midfield, I didn't think Roberts was great. I think everyone... I didn't think he was great yesterday. Defensively, going forward, I can't think of anything that he did well. So, I think I'd want Gruyev back so Archie goes back into right back. Yeah, that's fine. And listen, I think people get this wrong. I think I've seen a few comments saying Joe don't realise... Well, one guy said, Joe hasn't got Scooby-Doo. He'll catch up eventually. Gray is he's an 8 and needs to be playing as an 8. Yeah, and I didn't say any of that stuff. I didn't say that he isn't. Let me just say that. But he has time on his side. And if everybody's fit, how can he get in there when we've done well? So I think for me the best preference would be Gruyev being fit. If not, then I'll be okay with Roberts at right back and Gray going into midfield and leaving Ampadu at centre back. I would prefer that option over Cooper going in at centre-back, Ampadu going into midfield, and Archie Gray going at right-back. How does people feel about that? Let me put a poll out on that, because it is an interesting choice. Let's say Gruev doesn't make it. So do you want Ampadu in midfield, which then means Cooper comes in at left centre-back with Roberts at right-back? Or do you want Roberts in midfield? Gray in midfield. This is fucking a tongue twister, this. Let me go again. Okay. So, do you want, if Gruev doesn't make it, Ampadu in midfield, meaning Cooper's at left centre-back, Gray keeps his place at right-back? Or do you want Ampadu to remain at centre-back, Gray go into midfield, and Roberts at right-back? So the way that I'm going to address that poll, should Mateo start over Pat, by the way, 55% say no. The way I'm going to address that poll is Ampadu centre-back, Ampadu midfield. Yeah? If that makes sense. So if you're going for Ampadu at centre-back, then that means Gray goes into midfield and Roberts keeps his place at right-back. If you're saying Ampadu in midfield, that means Cooper comes in at centre-back and Gray goes in at right-back, yeah? So Ampadu position. I don't know if I've properly worded that. Ampadu position, yeah, and then I'll just put CM or centre-back, and we'll be able to work it from that. Probably not pose that poll the best, but it is what it is. Let's go and just see what some of your comments. Yeah, no, I agree. I just don't think he was great yesterday. You know, he was amazing against Leicester because he scores a goal that wins us the game or gets us back into it, you know what I mean? Yeah, it came down that left-hand side. It was an area of the pitch they definitely targeted. Roberts wasn't great, but different level of opposition. Roberts does a spot-on job at champ level. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that as well. I don't know what that means, but I just thought he's struggling with being a dad. I thought he needs to get used to it, man. This is dad life, broski. Just ill every day of the week. So he's probably never sleeping. I don't know, though. I don't know what that means, though. So I'm not going to say it just in case it means something else. But yeah, Roberts at right back, Ampadu centre back, Gray CM. I think that's probably the preferred option, isn't it? Everyone says no Cooper, although Cooper did okay yesterday. Nothing crazy, just did okay. 78%, 77% saying centre back. So Ampadu keeps his place at centre back. Right, okay. So let's get stuck into some more of this. I just look, best case scenario is that Gruev's fit. Evie, I know you're watching now. I sent you a message earlier on. Can you do 9 o'clock tonight? I sent you a message if you get a chance to have a look at it. So yeah, he said Shackleton feels unwell, headache, out of the game on Saturday, improvement with Gelhardt, but not capable of training today. Back pain has eased up. Gelhardt's another one. I really want him to do well. I think when he's played at right, when he's come on right wing, he's actually looked like he's impacting games, but he's just not ever fit, unfortunately. And I think at the end of the season, there's probably not going to be a place on the bench for either, because they've not taken their opportunities due to injuries, due to performances. You know, it's sad, but it is what it is. David says Cooper didn't do okay, Joe. He did do okay. On a number of occasions, he won duels, he won tackles. Not his fault, but he shouldn't be playing. Every time he's been caught, he did do okay. He did do okay. I didn't say he did great, he did okay. There was if you watch my watch along, because I was winding Sean up going, shoo. I did that about 5 or 6 times, because on about 5 or 6 occasions, he won tackles, important tackles, in our box, made vital blocks. But that doesn't fit the narrative, because you all think Cooper's shit. He was okay, that's all I said. If you think he had a bad game, I don't know what we're doing here. So yeah, he was okay, that's all I said. Just let your narratives go and actually look at the performance. Pretend it wasn't Cooper, pretend it was another guy, and look at it and say, oh yeah, he did an alright job, him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, no one's disagreeing that Ampadu isn't better and all that sort of stuff. He just did well. That's all. He did okay. And yeah, I just feel like I have to stick up for him when people say he was shit yesterday or whatever, because he wasn't. Weak link, yeah, you could call him that. Yeah, I'm not disputing these statements. I'm just saying, be fair and say yesterday was okay. He was asked about the kickoff time was Farke. He said, yeah, there's a massive difference between the 12:30 a.m. and 3 p.m. First hours are crucial for recovery. We've got to travel away from Chelsea back in the early hours of this morning. See, normally they stay over, but I reckon with it being London to back to Yorkshire, it's obviously knocked that out. So he said it's tricky with the rhythm and sleep. Tonight they'll get proper sleep, but then they have to travel to the hotel and then get up early, have to wake up at least 5 or 6 hours before kick-off to be ready. So obviously you're talking 12:30 kick-off and then boom. And then we're up, and then they're up. So they're up at 6:30 or whatever it was. So yeah, it does obviously impact them. Quick turnaround makes a difference. Tricky because you talk 2 or 3 hours, but these could be decisive because it affects the sleeping rhythm. The situation is like it is, but after having such a difficult away game on Wednesday without proper sleep, it's not great. I would hope it has no massive bearing, but sometimes these increment gains can mean a lot, right? But yeah, he says the adrenaline will kick in on Sunday. Especially with it being a Yorkshire derby. Listen, the atmosphere they'll be up for it at Huddersfield. I'm not saying crazy atmosphere or whatever, but they'll be up for it. Come on, it's a big game for them. It's the game, right? Farke's fit, Graham. It's the game. So the atmosphere, they are going to be up for it. And Leeds need to match that intensity. They're in a good moment at Huddersfield. They've had some good results. They've got a new manager through the door. He's saying all the right things. He's already had a little jibe at Leeds, as has their owner, the American. So they will be up for this. So we need to make sure we match their energy. I know the crowd will, but we just need to make sure the players do as well. And Farke says, look, we're in a good rhythm. We know this. The players in recent weeks who haven't been in the spotlight have had a chance and they've taken them opportunities. When we talk about Mateo Joseph, he says it's good to have options within the group. Once a player does not play well, we have the chance to react. Important when you have such a quick turnaround, you can bring fresh legs on the pitch, fresh energy is needed. Again, we've got Firpo, we've got Byron, we've got a number of options now in key positions. At centre-back, you've got Creswell, you've got Rodon, you've got Ampadu. At right-back, you've got Roberts, you've got Gray. Midfield, Kamara, Gruyev, Ampadu if needed, Gray if needed. Up front, you've got James, you've got Somerville, you've got Anthony, you've got, Rutter. There's so many options. So even Anthony was great yesterday. Obviously, I disagreed with Jer at the time, and I forgot he actually got 2 assists yesterday. I thought he had a good performance yesterday. So there's another player that, if needed, can come on and impact. And then up top, obviously, you've got Piro, you've got Bamford, and you've got Mateo Joseph, who scored 2s in hot form. He was playing yesterday with a smile on his face. So we have more than enough to get through this busy schedule. He was asked about the Yorkshire derby, and he spoke about Andre, the ex-coach. It turns out that, and I didn't know this, that Andre, the Huddersfield coach, has worked with Willy Gnonto while he was at Zurich. He's also worked with Gio Rutter while he was at Hoffenheim. So be aware of these players' qualities. So has good pedigree. Farke did say he's managed derbies in Germany between Schalke and Dortmund, where you can use only postcodes and not their actual names. Maybe that's why their owner was saying Leeds without spelling it right. I'm not too sure. He did say he'll be ready for this. Lots of positivity since he overtook the reins at Huddersfield. Lots of intensity and energy in such a local game. We are fully aware of the situation. We try to play with lots of intensity. Same for every team against us. We need to find the right answers. I think they're going to come and have a go. They press. This is a key point that Farke stressed, is that they will press. They didn't do that last time out. If you remember, we made them look, I would say, worse than bang average. Absolutely pony. I would argue the worst side we've faced at Elland Road. I say that. I think Rotherham were better and they were poor. Huddersfield were rubbish that day. Whoever it was playing at right wing back, I forget his name, he was garbage. Somerville made him look like he'd won, he got a ticket through Make-A-Wish Foundation. He were that bad, do you know what I mean? So I think they will come with a different style, but that could also play into Leeds United's hands. We know transitionally we're one of, if not the best teams in the league. We can score in quick transition, so if they want to press us high, let them do that, because if we beat the press, we're going to be in behind, and we have players that can cause them problems. Okay, we know as Leeds fans that a system can sometimes win out when you when you look at what Bielsa did with some what would you consider average championship players. I remember people used to say to me, you can't say that the Premier League now, but they'd have never got to the Premier League if it weren't for Marcel or some of them lads that I consider now as like heroes in a sense. I don't need to name them. But system can help. But ultimately, when you come up against better opposition with better technicians, normally it comes unstuck. So I think, if they do, and they are, trained really, really well and coached really, really well, I just think the individuals that we have are able to create amazing moments. Your likes of Rutter, your likes of Nonto, your likes of Somerville. So I just think as good as they may think they're going to be and as well as they may start, and I just think we'll have too much for them. Yeah? We've got the club record, haven't we? We've got the club record, and I'm just about to move on to that now, Robbie. Because, the club record is there for Leeds United. If we win, we break the record, for 10 consecutive wins in the league. So this is a huge thing. And of course the club aren't probably making a deal out of it, Robbie, because they don't want to jinx it, right? Farke said, yeah, look, club record, if you win, he said, we are joint leaders currently. Would I take another win? Yes, but not for the record books, just to improve our situation. The guys are on an amazing run. I want an amazing position after 46 games. It's a difficult game. And we had hard work yesterday, of course. But, if we do win, the club record is there. Imagine that, 10 wins. And look at this as well. What a guy he is. Abdul Rahman Al Khalifa, inshallah, my brother, mashallah. Alhamdulillah. And salam alaikum, my brother. He says, hello, Joe. Not sad about a loss last night and proud of the performance. Agree completely, Abdul Rahman. He says, look, I love Melier, but why does he get beat at the near post? At Galactite angle for the first goal. If he stood tall, that idiot doesn't score their third. Still happy, though. Yeah, he sort of dinked it over him, didn't he? He dinked it over him, and he sort of flapped it, you could say. Listen, I'm a big advocate of Melier's. I think as well, sometimes you have to bring in to fruition like physics, because as a big goalkeeper, when he tries to save the Jackson shot, we know, I think, who was it who spoke? I can't remember which striker it was. I don't know if it might have been Andy Cole. I think it might have been Andy Cole on a podcast I watched called Filthy Fellas, and he said, if you're a striker, aim for between the legs. Aim for between the legs, because they can't sort the feet out quick enough, goalkeepers, and 9 times out of 10 it'll go through. He said this, and Jackson's hit that strike, and obviously Melier's trying to get down, lifting his leg out just in case it goes there, and it just goes through. I think it was Andy Cole. I'm going to have to find the clip, but yeah, these are the little nuances that strikers, and when you listen to them speak, that we as laymen can't see. Do you know what I mean? Cannot see. So, yeah, there you go. But Abdul Rahman, yeah, big up to you, mate. Thanks for always contributing the channel. It massively helps. You're a top guy. Abdul Rahman is a dude. He is Jerry English as well. Russell says we put on a good show despite being light. We played well. This is what I'm saying. We had a second string side. So it's great to see. Big up to everyone in the chat as well. Listen, we've got 230 likes. There's 441 people watching. If you haven't already, smash a like on the video for me. It'd be great if you could do that, as it massively helps the channel. Yeah, so I think that's it, really. I think that's everything covered. He mentioned a bit on Archie, and he's keeping his feet on the ground. Naturally, he's got a family around him that enables him to do that. It's mad, actually. I was thinking about this earlier when I did the video. Can you imagine, right, if Archie didn't have that around him? He might not even be here anymore. So we're quite lucky in that respect, because you've just to look at Finley Gorman. I think it was Jer who was mentioning the other day how when they're under a certain age, you just have to deal with the parents, and then you then pay the football club a compensation fee. So we're quite lucky. Marco, what have you got down there, mate, please? stop doing that. It's not your fucking dog toy, man. It's me vape. Man's trying to chew me vape. Little dozo. Dozo, bozo. Stop being a bozo. Marco, leave it. Come on. You can't hear him anymore, can you? They're snoring their heads off, and this mic don't pick it up. It's sick. Means they can just chill with me, you see. Where was I going? Yeah, so I was saying we're quite lucky that the Archie's family, the Gray family, are ingrained and are all footballers. Because even if you look at, like, Lee Clark as well, Lee Clark with his son, Bobby Clark at Liverpool, because they've worked in the game, Lee Clark could have had him at other academies, could have had him at Newcastle. So don't forget, he's a massive Newcastle fan, played for Newcastle. But he understands and can say to him, if you look at them, even the lad Kumas that came on, I think it's Jason Kumas' son. You know, you've got Emil Heskey doing bits at City. Emil Heskey's sons, two of them, I think, twins, doing bits at City. When their dads have been footballers, they know how to look after them. So I think we're quite lucky in that respect. Whereas if it was, you know, just a normal family, when you have money put in front of you, if you come from humble beginnings, it's different, man. Let's be honest. And you can't blame that, because for a lot of families, football's a way out. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you're from, I don't know, humble beginnings, single parent families, not even that, council estate, all that sort of stuff, and a club comes along and goes, what are you going to do? It's hard, innit? So we're quite lucky in that respect. You know, we are very, very lucky. And we've got Harry Gray coming through as well, right? So yeah, that's great stuff as well. So yeah, a bit of a poignant way to end that, wasn't it? Especially when you consider the state of society today. But you don't want to get me started on that shit. Make sure you all register to vote as well. I'm not going to tell you, well, you know where I'm going, but I would implore you to do the same. But let's not go there, because people get annoyed when I start talking politics. Anyway, just get him out! Get him out! Ampadu position centre-back. 61% of you think he should stay at centre-back, which means Gray plays in midfield, and we have a right back of Connor Roberts, which I think is the way he'll go if indeed he doesn't. If he doesn't. Yeah, the Watford and Hull games have been moved. Yeah, no, I agree, Jamie. They're all rubbish anyway. All politics. Just burn it down, man. Seth Rowland's settings. Burn it down. Let me see if they've adjusted the other fixtures yet for April on Flash Score. Nah, they've still got them all down as 3 o'clock. Do we know which other games were moved, according to the EFL? Let me just have a look. Oh, God. Oh, God, hang on. Before we go, we are David and we want to bring down Goliath. This is what their coach has been saying. Let me have a listen to what he's saying. We are Goliath, apparently. What's it? Oh, he's going like this? Hang on, let me listen to this, Gadji. 1 second. He's speaking now. Andre Breitner. Let me just listen to what he's saying, folks. We are David, and we want to bring down Goliath. Will the Huddersfield fans like that? It says we've got a good team, good potential. Oh, it's just saying they're better than Watford. When you have a clear structure, good plan. Fancies himself, doesn't he? We'll see. David bringing down Goliath. Let's get it. We are Goliath, people. Yeah, he's talking bollocks. Anyway, yes, Joe, I love that. Listen, smash a like on the video. Don't forget, right, I'm going to be back in an hour. I know, back in an hour. And then I'm going on All Leeds TV at 7 with Oscar. So I'm going to set a redirect for that. And then we'll be back at 9 for the final word. So, yeah, listen, I'll see you in 58 minutes for I'll see you in 58 minutes for the White Rose Rivals, where we can talk about Huddersfield. Peace out. I love you all. Bye-bye.